सुबह सबको बोल दो चले जाएगा वहाँ पे। मैं तो 11 बजे मुझे सब भेज देना जो उसमें बोला तुम याद नहीं है मैंने उस पे क्या लिखा स्नैपशॉट है SSTC@123 है ना पवित्र सर हां स्टूडेंट का नहीं बोलता है तुम लोग आईटीपीटी में भी लिंक डाल देते हो झूठ लगा सब लोग तुम मेरे कार्ड के बाद में बोलोगे बाद में
आपका एक मिनट व्हाट्सएप दिखाइए।
आ गया दिखा मैम रिकॉर्डिंग यहाँ से नहीं होगा ना रिकॉर्डिंग हाँ पता है
आप ऑलरेडी नहीं हाँ वहां से हो जाएगा
1 2 3 4
वहां से भी हो जाएगा आप स्टार्ट रिकॉर्डिंग कर सकते हो नहीं जिस जीमीट मतलब एसएसटीसी से की होगे ना तो वो सिस्टम से भी आप स्टार्ट रिकॉर्डिंग कर सकते हो आप अपनी आईडी से मत करना एसएसटीसी की आईडी से ही आप अगेन लॉगिन कर सकते हो हाँ फिर कहीं भी रिकॉर्ड करो बस आपका लॉगिन एसएसटीसी से होना चाहिए आप रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हो अगर आईटीएफटी वाले से कनेक्टेड है तो जैसे रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन करेंगे तो इजीली डाउनलोड तो फिर कभी भी कर लेंगे वो तो मेल में आ जाएगा ना डाउनलोड तो हम यहाँ कर लेंगे बस ध्यान रखना कि रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन हुई है कि नहीं हाँ। एक तो इन लोग जैमर लगा दिए ना बहुत स्लो चल रहा है एक्टिव 10:45 से हाँ ये मैं किस पे भेजूँ लतिका मैम को भेजूँ यूट्यूब लिंक
मैम 2 मिनट इधर से घुस जाओगे
तो आप ही के आईडी से ना
अभी चालू है
आदित्य का है आपके पास आप चेक करो तो सर हाँ इसमें अब ये स्क्रीन पे तो हाँ कितने कनेक्ट हुए देखना हेलो हेलो
माधुरी
जी मैम
ये मेरी स्क्रीन पे क्या अंधेरा अंधेरा दिख रहा है क्या जब दिख रही हूँ
हाँ
कि ठीक दिख
हाँ
रहा है
नहीं आप दिख नहीं रहे हो लाइट आपके ऊपर नहीं आ रही
कैसे
थी
करूँ लाइट तो यहाँ
आपका फेस उधर होना चाहिए तो सही आएगा नहीं आ रही लाइट
ऐसे रख लो फिर इधर रख लेते सिस्टम नहीं वहाँ ये देखो ना ऐसे वहाँ स्क्रीन पे
अंधेरा आ रहा है मैम नहीं आ रहा है ठीक से
ये वाला लाइट ना थोड़ा डार्क कर रहा है उसका काफी सिस्टम को ऐसे रखें
सब भी आ रहा है
मेरा उधर रहे तो शायद ठीक होगा टेबल आ जाएगा पूरा टेबल ये वाला टेबल ये इस चेयर पे रख दो सिस्टम को हिलेगा सिस्टम तो मिल जाएगा मैं टेबल इधर कैसे रखोगे कनेक्शन निकाल दे
जो थोड़ी देर
डॉक्टर यहाँ पे लाइट होता ना
हाँ
वो टेबल को खिसको इधर ये काम दूसरा सिस्टम में बैठेंगे क्या
अरे मैम ये लिंक भेजे नहीं होगा सिर्फ 3 लोग हैं इसमें
कैमरा तो लगाना है
हाँ
करके देखिए
तो ये लिंक भेजूं
नहीं ये सिस्टम नहीं चेंज करो लास्ट मोमेंट
ये मीट वाली लिंक भेज दियो ज्वाइन करने की हाँ तो ज्वाइन नहीं हुए हाँ पर फिर भी आपको स्क्रीन दिख रही है क्या यूट्यूब पे? हेलो, एक मिनट दिखाओ कौन से ब्लैक ही दिख रहा है ना?
हाँ, जुड़ रहे हैं क्या लोग मीटिंग में?
हाँ ठीक है।
डालो नहीं मैसेज। पार्टिसिपेंट्स को ज्वाइन बोलना पड़ेगा, जल्दी करो। हम्म। अच्छा सुनो, हेलो हेलो।
एक मिनट जी मैम।
हाँ माधुरी।
बहुत हल्ला। हाँ जी मैम।
फोन पे ही लगाती हूँ।
हाँ अभी ठीक है, बेटर है। पर आप बैठेंगे तो एक मिनट देख लेते हैं लाइव पे
मैं
कैसे।
शिफ्ट कर रही हूँ, सिस्टम को शिफ्ट कर रही हूँ।
जी मैम।
लाऊं इधर रखो ना, नहीं जाएगा क्या तार वहां तक? बस ये इसको उठा के डब्बा वही रहने दो, इसके यहाँ इसको उठा के यहाँ रखो बस।
अच्छा आपकी लॉगिन से हुआ है राइट? हाँ क्योंकि फिर वो मैम को अपनी आईडी से होना चाहिए, नहीं तो आप दिखोगे वहां पर, आप मतलब आपका नाम डिस्प्ले होगा। नहीं फिर उनको ये नहीं लगेगा कि लतिका मैम है कि आदित्य सर है। नहीं अभी तो लो आप, थोड़ी देर रुको, इसको हो जाने दो। मैं जैसे भी नाश्ता करके आई हूँ, नाश्ता करने के चक्कर में लेट हो गई हूँ। बग्गा मैम ज्वाइन हो गई है। स्टॉप। मैम आप कोई स्क्रीन बनाए हो क्या? हाँ स्क्रीन शेयर हुआ है ना। एक मिनट, फर्स्ट पेज। हेलो जी मैम। हेलो है ना डॉली मैम, हेलो बात कर लो। हाँ हेलो हेलो। हाँ गुड मॉर्निंग। क्या चीज? हेलो ये हेलो हेलो। क्यों लाइव स्ट्रीम ट्रोथ क्यों करनी है? इसको तो रिकॉर्डिंग कंटेंट भी डाल सकते हैं ना, रिकॉर्ड होने के बाद यूट्यूब में डाल देंगे। आज बस इनॉग्रल डालना है यूट्यूब में। मेरी आवाज नहीं दे रही है। एक मिनट, बहुत धीमे धीमे आवाज है। मैं लगाऊं क्या? मैं लगाती हूँ, मुझे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे। हेलो हाँ सुनो ना, देखो पहले जो वेलकम होगा पहले वहाँ से स्टार्ट करेंगे ना, रिवर्स ऑर्डर में। पहले चीफ गेस्ट, फिर डायरेक्टर सर, फिर इधर बग्गा मैडम का ये वाला ऑर्डर रहेगा, है ना। फिर जब बोलूंगी तो पहले कंटेंट लतिका मैडम का रहेगा, फिर बग्गा मैडम, उसके बाद डायरेक्टर सर, फिर गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर सत्या सर, और फिर वो कर्नल वेंकट, है ना चीफ गेस्ट। मैम एक मिनट आप बताइए, ये है क्या ये शेयर करना है ना स्क्रीन पे? तो हाँ हाँ मैं बुलाऊंगी, हाँ मैं बुलाऊंगी। हाँ अरे पर ये इमेज इसको फुल स्क्रीन डिस्प्ले करना पड़ेगा। यहाँ पे लिखा है कि हाँ हाँ अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए नहीं है कि यहाँ पे प्रेजेंटेशन ही है क्या? कौन सा प्रेजेंटेशन? नहीं ये तो इमेज है। अच्छा वो सारी जगह करते हैं तो इसको एक मिनट, इसको तो मतलब कॉपी पहले तो वेलकम तो कर ही देंगे, फिर जब वो आएंगे तब फिर से वेलकम कर देंगे ना, जब जिसमें वो ज्वाइन करेंगे। वो कहाँ है? ऊपर भी कर लीजिए, सेलेक्ट करके विंडोज हो जाएगा ओपन विथ कितने नहीं उसमें करना है। ओ ये इसमें स्लाइड में शेयर करना चाह रही हूँ ना, पीपीटी में। तो मैं कॉपी कर ली हूँ इसको पावर पॉइंट।
हेलो।
पूरा दिख रहा है ना?
कहाँ से होगा ये तो लॉक हो गया। शेयर किया वो तो ऑलरेडी शेयर में था।
एक मिनट।
स्क्रीन
आपको स्क्रीन कौन सी दिख रही है? आप लिंक ज्वाइन कर लिया क्या? हाँ ये देख। नहीं नहीं, मीट वाला। मीट वाले में कौन सी स्क्रीन दिख रही है बताइए? दिख रहा है ना? एक मिनट, उसको फुल स्क्रीन कर दो। एक मिनट, इसको ना एंटायर स्क्रीन की बजाय अब दिख रहा है। अब ना आप वहां पर लॉगिन कर लो SSTC से, वो वाले सिस्टम में। हाँ कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप बहुत सारे लॉगिन कर सकते हो। उससे क्या होगा, आप अभी मैंने स्टार्ट कर दी रिकॉर्डिंग।
स्टार्ट कर दी।
हाँ रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट है उसमें, स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग करनी रहेगी।
कहाँ पे स्टॉप करेंगे?
नहीं तो अभी स्टॉप कर देते हैं, देखो
स्टार्ट कर देते हैं।
स्टॉप कर देती हूँ अभी।
स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट कहाँ से करेंगे बता दो, फिर से बताओ।
हाँ तो आपको यहाँ जाना है, रिकॉर्ड मीटरिंग में जाना है, तो फिर हो जाएगा। तो आप वहाँ पर लॉगिन करो ना, 5 मिनट टाइम है। हाँ हाँ 10:45 पे स्टार्ट करना रिकॉर्डिंग।
साथ ही काम है ना।
10 लोग।
दो तो हम लोग हम ही जाना है। अच्छा डिपार्टमेंट के दिख रहा है। यूट्यूब वाला हो गया है, स्टार्ट हो चुका है ना। और
हाँ।
ये बस यहाँ से रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन करना
हाँ
है।
यूट्यूब स्ट्रीमिंग आप शेयर करना चाहो तो शेयर कर सकते हो, जो मैं आपको दी हूँ। पहले बग्गा मैम को शेयर कर दो यूट्यूब लिंक। क्या नाम है? लतिका मैम को भेजिए। लतिका मैम में आया होगा ना आपके में?
तो मेरे व्हाट्सएप से भेजिए।
हाँ,
अच्छा
हाँ। नहीं नहीं यहाँ नहीं होगा, वही सिस्टम है इसमें, विंडो वो वाला। हाँ 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 नहीं सेट वाला। हाँ हाँ।
अच्छा ये पीछे की बैक पे मुझे कंटेंट, वो संतोष चालू वाली को आपने भेज दिया है क्या लिंक? ये फर्स्ट स्पीकर संतोष कुमार चालू वाली का
हाँ
भेज दिया ना?
किसको?
फर्स्ट स्पीकर जो है संतोष, फर्स्ट तो वही है ना, संतोष कुमार
संतोष को
चालू?
ना? हाँ संतोष, हाँ उसको भेज दिया, संतोष को भेज दिया।
तो बस उन्हीं को ही कनेक्ट करना है ना, बाकी सारे स्पीकर्स तो मेरे ख्याल से नहीं जुड़ेंगे इसमें। और कोई बोला है जुड़ने के लिए?
हाँ मतलब देख लेंगे, अपन सबको इनविटेशन तो भेज दिए हैं और अब वो देखेंगे ना, जो जुड़ेगा
हाँ उसको
देख लेंगे।
देशमुख सर जुड़ेंगे क्या?
हाँ देशमुख जुड़ेंगे ना,
पर उनको लिंक नहीं मिली है।
लिंक अभी रुकना, वो तो उनको लास्ट को भेजेंगे, उनको बाकी सब भेज दें उनको लिंक, वो तो जैसे जुड़ेंगे
10:45 to 44 हो गया
वो लोग धुने तो हो गया आज के सर। और ये कंटेंट को मैं कहाँ से देखूँगी?
ठीक है, तो उसको शेयर मत करिएगा आप, ठीक है? कंटेंट को
तो ये विंडो ओपन है, यहाँ से देख रहे हैं, ठीक है? हाँ बड़ा नहीं हो पा रहा है क्या?
ये वो
ये
हो
नहीं
जाएगा,
पाएगा
हो जाएगा।
अपना?
एक्चुअली पूरा फुल स्क्रीन हो जाएगा ना, तो फिर आप दूसरी
दिखेगा
चीज नहीं
नहीं।
देख पाओगे।
उस पे ये दिख रहा है ना, तुम लोगों को ये दिख रहा है ना?
चेहरा में दिख रहा है। कैमरा ऑन है ना?
इसको हटाना, ये जो डला हुआ है ये तो सारा
दोबारा
साइड
कर।
ये कनेक्शन ठीक नहीं है।
हाँ, इसको नीचे कर दीजिए ना।
नहीं बेटी नीचे है।
अच्छा, पहले वाले का
पहले वाले का क्लोज। नहीं रुकना, चालू होगा तो स्टार्ट करना, इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग हो। सीधी से। कम ही लोग जुड़े ना अभी तो।
Hello, good morning all. Am I audible, Madhuri ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
कितना अभी सब पूरे काम है।
चालू है।
मुझे ये बताना, मैं अगर ये देख के बोल रही हूँ तो कुछ ऐसा लग रहा है क्या कि मैं देख के बोल रही हूँ कि कहीं मतलब माइक ऑफ है, माइक ऑफ है, माइक ऑफ है तो वहाँ का चालू है क्या यूट्यूब? नहीं दिख रहा है। अरे यार ये चंद्रशेखर। अच्छा हेलो। हाँ गुड मॉर्निंग। हाँ
वो वाला ला दो जो आपके पास था जैसा वाला।
उनको तो जैसे भेजेंगे तो वो तुरंत ज्वाइन करेंगे ना, सब बाकी सब तो ज्वाइन हो गए। Good morning, all. Our inaugural ceremony is going to start. Please wait till further participants are joining.
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम।
क्या हुआ? 51 connected है. हेलो. तो गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
पीछे का पर्दा गिरा था थोड़ा. धीरे धीरे.
तो कहाँ कनेक्ट ही नहीं हुआ है ना। नहीं नहीं, बट चीफ गेस्ट और गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर तो कनेक्ट नहीं हुआ है ना।
हम्म।
कौन ज्वाइन हुआ अभी? हम्म, वैद्य सर, वैद्य सर, विजय वैद्य सर। एंड कर्नल बी वेंकट है चीफ गेस्ट। बहुत जुड़ गए हैं ना अभी वेंकट, बहुत नहीं जुड़े हैं वैसे सर, स्टार्ट कर देते हैं ना। Good morning to all the delegates and the participants present over here. Under the series of program conducted by the Department of Information Technology, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Bhilai, I, Dr. Jayashree, Associate Professor, Department of Information Technology, as one of the coordinator of the program, would like to welcome you all on this 1 week AICT ISC sponsored induction program on cyber security and autonomy. At the outset, in the inaugural ceremony of this program, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Colonel B. Venkat, Director, Faculty Development Cell, AICT. I welcome our guest of honor, Professor Vijay D. Vaidya, Executive Secretary, IST, Ms. Jaya Mishra Ma'am, President, Sri Gangajali Education Society, Dr. P.B. Deshmukh, Director, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Bhilai, Dr. Jaspal Baga, Vice Principal, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Bhilai, all the esteemed speakers present over here, dear colleagues, and all the participants. A very warm welcome to all of you. Now, I request Dr. Latika Penjarkar, Head of the Department, Information Technology, to give the brief detail of the program.
Thank you, Dolly ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Dolly ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Okay. A very warm welcome to all of here present over here. And I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Colonel Venkat sir, Director Faculty Development Cell AICT, for accepting the invitation as a chief guest for this faculty development program on cyber security and autonomy. And I thanks him to give us opportunity for conducting this program. The theme of the program is cyber security. Since everything is going digital nowadays, so cyber security is coming very in, and it is must required area for conducting this digital things, digital transformations, and digital communications nowadays. And we are having extreme good speakers from academicians area and industrial area, and I hope every participant who is participating in the FDP will be benefited with great insights through this 6 days program, faculty development program, and can benefit it for research work, for the academic work of this whole fraternity of our faculty team. So I welcome sir once again, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Dolly ma'am. Over to you, Dolly ma'am.
Thank you for briefing the program. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Jaspal Bagga, Vice Principal, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, for for addressing us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Dolly. On behalf of Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, I extend a very warm good morning, warm welcome to our chief guest, Colonel Venkat, Director, Faculty Development Cell, AICT. I also welcome Professor Vaidya, sir, for joining. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. I extend welcome to all participants I'm thankful to our mentor, our director, Dr. Deshmukh sir, for continuously guiding in conducting such events. I'm again very much thankful to AICT and IST for giving us this opportunity again to conduct this event. Regarding the topic of autonomous cyber strategy, I think that is the need of the hour to avoid operational disruption of secure digital data and critical data. So with the frequency and ferocity with which the cyber attacks are moving in size and scale, I think the data is getting vulnerable. So when we talk about cyber security, I think we are talking about network security, we are talking about infrastructural security, we are talking about cloud security, application security. So many of the organizations have already moved to autonomous cyber security systems, and as per the report which was released recently, and many are moving towards it. So that is the need of the hour. And I wish that our esteemed speakers from IITs, NITs will be sharing their research areas, and also the industry people would be sharing their strategies, cyber security strategies, which are employed in the organization to save critical data. So I'm once again thankful to AICT and IST, Venkat sir for gracing this occasion, Vaidya sir for sparing time and joining us on this platform. I'm thankful to management for for guiding us. And also I congratulate the team for continuously in a series organizing AICT, IST training programs over the past year, and also conducting Atal FDPs. So congratulations team. I hope the participants will have a great learning time. Rather, I request the participants to have interactive sessions with the speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the valuable speech. Now I request our director, Dr. P.B. Deshmukh, director, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Bhilai, for to address this August gathering. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vidyarupan Sanstita Namastasya Namo Namah. Respected Honorable Colonel B. Venkat, Director Faculty Development Cell, AICT, our today's chief guest. Our guest of honor, Professor Vijay D. Vaidya, Sir, Executive Secretary, IST, Dr. Jaspal Bagga, coordinator of this program, Dr. Katika Pinjarkar, Dr. Dolly Shukla, all faculty members, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all you in this induction and refresher program sponsored by AICT IST on the cyber security and autonomy being conducted from 10th January to 15th January 2022. I think this is a third series of this program where we are going to organize such type of an refresher program, especially to strengthen our teaching faculty, teaching fraternity throughout the country, and especially from the Chhattisgarh also, where we require the input for bringing all these studies in the area of the emerging areas. The reason is that cybersecurity has been the very hottest topic nowadays, when there are the lot of social medias are being used, particularly in the pandemic 19 also, and a lot of especially the financial transaction, if I take as an example, being conducted throughout the bank transfer and so on. Why there is a need of cybersecurity, we have observed one thing has been happened in our institute also. In the one class, the students have taken some figure and then they have corrected, they have modified, and then they have placed it. So we have taken the action and we have given the counseling to the student also, specific students also. But there is a lot of lacuna in the under the cyber security. Generally, the number of cases have been there. The people has asked the OTP, and some people, some general people don't know what is the importance of OTP, and then there is a transaction, and so on. So many things are malpracticing that are being done by the various experts, those who are in the cyber hacking and cyber security problems. I think there are the number of solutions to be developed to address this such of the security. Otherwise, this will be a consistent program, because 90% now we have gone with the cyber security. And now for this 5 state election has been declared. All will be on the E mode there. And suppose some meetings have been hacked by the another party. Lot of controversies will be there, and it will be very difficult to handle the situation. I urge all faculty members and some researchers here also, if we can develop something, we can add on something in this cybersecurity system for a complete autonomy of self-sustained autonomy for the cybersecurity. It will be a very great work for that. And I think this refresher induction program will address some point of this, will strengthen the thought process of our teachers, our researcher, and in the meantime, in the this we can bring a very good solution for this. Here I extend from Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus a gratitude and gratefulness to AICT as well as the IST for sponsoring such a very valuable refresher program for our teachers. Being as a chairman of IST in the Chhattisgarh chapter, I welcome further, and I thanks to Vijay Vaidya sir that he has also been given the opportunity me here to work in the Chhattisgarh also. And Colonel B Venkat sir has been always our very supportive and very motivating and mentor force for us. He has given a lot of opportunities for us, lot of sanctioned the number of programs in our institutions, and we are doing it under his able guidance. Thanks, sir. Thank you very much. Once again, I extend my best wishes for the successful completion of this refresher program on the cyber security and autonomy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your guiding words. Now I request the chief guest of our today's program, Colonel B. Venkat, Director, Faculty Development Cell, AICT, to enlighten us. Um, um, Vaidya,
What happened, Ali?
I think Vaidya sir is connected here. Uh, now I would now I request um, Professor. I request our guest of honor of the today's program, Professor Vijay D. Vadya, Executive Secretary, IST, to address this August gathering. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, madam. So should I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Good morning to one and all. It's really my pleasure to be with you for this inauguration program of Faculty Development Program, Cyber Security and Autonomy, organized by the Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Bhilai. So I know about this institute. I really appreciate the efforts taken by you people for various activities. And first of all, I feel that I have to mention about Dr. P.B. Deshmukh sir, Director, SSTC, who is the man behind this. and particularly Dr. Jaspal Bagga madam, a dynamic lady, and she is always having innovative ideas. And I do remember the cooperation she has extended to IST for last 1 year in various activities. Dr. Latika Pinjarkar, Head of IT Department, Dr. Dolly Shukla, members of the organizing committee, and my dear participants. First of all, I have to mention about the Colonel Venkat sir. I think he was unable to join, whatever maybe some reason, or he may be busy with somewhere. But the dynamic person in AICT who is having high regards for teaching community and who is always thinking for the betterment of faculty. And I think since you are having good interaction with him, you must have realized the effort Colonel Venkat sir is taking for the faculty development. Now, this is the AICT IST program, and the basic objective of this training program is to give knowledge in emerging areas to our faculty members. Because if you consider the present scenario, the technology is changing at a rapid rate, the industry is changing at a rapid rate, and if you consider whatever we are delivering in the curriculum, that may be not at par with the industry techniques or industry needs, or not at par with the technology which is being used in practice or in the field. Now, when you consider this, it is highly essential that we have to ensure that our students are capable of doing the things, or they are capable to fulfill the expectations of the industry. And when you think of this, it is essential that they should be trained in different areas. And for that, the basic requirement is that our faculty should be trained. And it is expected that I think there will be a session on national education policy wherein which would detailed means glimpse of national education will be delivered in that, and you will know about in depth about the national education policy. But there also the stress is given on this training purpose. Means it is expected that faculty should be trained regularly, and the reason behind that is they should be at par with the industry needs, or they should be at par with the technology. And further, NEP expects that curriculum should be amended frequently, and it should be at par with the industry needs. Means whatever industry is using, same thing should be there in the curriculum. So now there is a good responsibility on we teachers to ensure that our curriculum is at par with the technology, and we are moving with, or we are well versed with the new trends and technologies. When you think of all these things, it is highly essential that faculty should have an opportunity to undergo training in different areas. And this is one of the opportunities, that is the AICT IT program, wherein which the faculty can gain knowledge in emerging areas. Now consider this topic, that is cyber security and autonomy. It is one of the the topic of prime importance today. And one thing you will find that we talk about the unemployment in engineering graduates, but at the same time, there is a scarcity of expertise in cyber security area. Means there is a good scope for cyber security in as far as job potential is considered. So I feel that this is a good topic they have selected, and considering the resource persons they have invited for the program, really, I appreciate Bagga madam and Latika madam for organizing such a eminent personalities as a resource person, because you will find that the resource persons are from eminent institutes like IITs, NITs, and other institutes from India as well as abroad. Even they have ensured that there is a good blend of industry expertise, and academicians. So really, participants, you have an opportunity to have a feast, you can say that, wherein which you will have a good exposure to different areas, and you will learn a lot in this program. So first of all, I would like to congratulate Bagga madam and Latika madam for organizing and selecting such a eminent resource persons and organizing the program in the best possible manner. Because last time also I have seen that the Bagga madam is a dedicated personality, and whenever she takes any responsibility, she does it in the best possible manner. So really, your team is quite good. Particularly, I appreciate Deshmukh sir also. So when you think of all these things, definitely the program is going to be a grand success. Now the problem is that the faculty who are there, I think more than 57 faculties are there. They should ensure that whatever they are going to learn, be serious about it. Because see, one thing, I know that everyone is interested in certificate, and that is the thing. And for that certification, we are having some constraints also. Means if you want the certificate, you have to fulfill certain criteria. But I feel that this is an opportunity which you get rarely, because such as types of eminent personalities in that area, and the topic is also such a innovative that once you attend this program sincerely and seriously, definitely you at the end you will find that you have learned a lot and you have interacted with many people, and you will be aware about the new trends. Now, when you talk about the cyber security, Deshmukh sir, he has already mentioned about the cyber threats and all. But one thing is that it is our duty as a member of society to ensure that society also should be given training in this area, because we are giving training to our students, and they will be working in different industries, and for that there they will take the proper care. But this is the thing that a common man is also getting cheated by this cyber criminals. And I feel that it is our duty to make awareness in the society in this area, so that definitely society can be in position to use the online mode in a safer way. Many times you will find that many people are afraid of using this network banking and all these things, because they are afraid that they may be cheated, and that is why they prefer to use the traditional mode of transactions, that is cash. They will go to bank, collect the cash, they will withdraw the cash, and they will use it for their regular use. But it is expected that as far as possible we should have online transactions, and for that whatever fear in their mind, that should be removed. In addition to that, they are getting different types of messages every day, and sometimes they are clicking some unknown links, and with that they are coming in trouble. So I feel that all these things should be made aware to the society, and that is our duty, and we can do it with the help of our students, because there are NSS activities are there, or other social activities institutes are performing. And I feel that you should take initiative in that way to ensure that our society also should be literated in this area. So once the society is literated, there is no problem in development of our nation. Now, if you consider this topic, I have already mentioned that there is a scarcity of expertise in this area, and there is good scope for our students to go into that. And I feel that the students who will go into that will have a good future. And only thing is that now the days have changed. It is required that you should have some brain, or you should have certain capacities or innovative ideas, and with that you can start your own and you can earn a lot. Means in olden days it was essential that you must have some money, and with money only you can start the business. But now the things have changed. If you have the innovative ideas, if you have the good concepts, the people are there with money, they will run behind you to start new enterprise. So I feel that take this advantage, and for that you have to ensure that innovativeness in your students should be encouraged. Because if you want to think a development of our nation, economical development is very much essential, and for that innovativeness is of prime importance. I'll just give you a relation, that is mathematical relation. You can say that we know that we are delivering knowledge to the students. We are giving knowledge to the students for their future use. But if they have the innovative ability, you can think in this direction that knowledge drives innovation. Knowledge drives innovation. Innovation drives productivity. Knowledge drives innovation. Innovation drives productivity, and productivity drives economic growth. Productivity drives economic growth. And I feel that it is the need of our nation today. Need of society is the economic growth. And I feel that we should contribute whatever is possible from our side for the economic growth of the nation. And with this, I feel that the efforts taken by coordinator Latika madam and their team for this program, for I think they must be busy for last 1 month to organize this program, because in this area you have to identify the topics, you have to identify the resource persons who are most suitable, and next important thing is that you have to interact with them and get their consent, get their availability, and arrange your schedule accordingly. So it is a tremendous hectic job, and they have done it very successfully by inviting expertise from abroad also. So I feel that participant, just once again I will appeal you to be serious, be sincere, and give proper justice for the efforts taken by this organization. And I feel at this moment it is my duty to mention about the Colonel Venkat sir, who is taking a lot of initiatives, lot of activities are being in pipeline by AICT, and please ensure that we should give proper justice for the efforts taken by AICT people, particularly Colonel Venkat sir for faculty development, and that is for the betterment of us, betterment of society, and betterment of our nation. So with this, I wish grand success for this program. There is no need, because I am sure that program will be of a grand success, and participants at the end of this program will definitely realize they have attended one of the best programs in their career. So with this, I wish everyone all the best and wish you a happy and prosperous new year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable speech and for your continuous guidance and support. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to request our chief guest of the today's program, Colonel B. Venkat, sir, the Director, Faculty Development Cell, AICT, to enlighten us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure and honor that we get connected once again. I recollect, I think, in the last year during the times when there were pandemic issues were going about, and when we were all very much thinking as to how to move forward, we had got connected to your forum and your online platform. So it gives me enough happiness to say that once again I am connected, even though the times have improved. We're living in a better time, so hopefully we should be seeing much better times to come. So happy new year to each one of you who has got connected. A warm regards to everybody. Pratap Deshmukh sir, very good morning.
Yes, sir. Very good morning, sir. Thank you.
Very good morning, sir. It's a pleasure to be coming on your institute's platform. Bhaga ma'am, always it's an honor to be seeing
Good
you.
morning, sir. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful, ma'am. Great interacting with you once again. And IST, to as it is, wonderful. There's Vaidya sir being always there at the helm of affairs for getting things done. Vaidya sir, we've been always being connected, multiple forums on multiple activities. We keep interacting, we keep listening, we keep motivating people. Ultimate aim of each one of us happens to be only one. It's not only AICT and IST who are motivating people. It is you people inbuilt. You yourself have enough charisma, charm to motivate a lot of people, not only professionally but also academically. That is what exactly is this whole forum all about. This whole programs which AICT does in collaboration with ISTE is singular in nature, and the purposes and the learning outcomes of each one of them happen to be only one, that we wish to make our faculty members that much more competent, aware, and in a position that they can be contributing effectively. And only if we have the faculty members coming forward in a better manner, being a better learned people with the right amount of information and knowledge, can we then expect our students to come forward, which is the overall mandate of national education policy that we should all be moving towards. Professional education. I would implore everybody to read about at what's a professional education as per the Charter of National Education Policy. This is exactly what it is. An IT department, I get to see that you are taking on cyber security and autonomy. I would rather say that this is a very interesting combination that you have done it. It's a very interesting combination, only because you have a very emerging area subject coming in, and then you are connecting it with autonomy. I sincerely feel and hope that you will be having some kind of implication of this topic coming into education sector also. Make it into the education sector as to how do you have an autonomy coming into education. Try to bring about an angle of cyber security into this side also, even though I know very clearly that you are teaching something which is concerned as an emerging area and related to that. but it's a very interesting subject. I would also love to get connected. One of the lectures talks which will be happening on this. And that is how one broadens the horizon. That is how one broadens its own knowledge. So it is for all the faculty members, and it is for all people who are connected on the other side of our platform, whom we today, for the purposes of classification, are addressing as participants or attendees. Request to please take that much more sincerity into your work. Request to be that much more uh, sincere in your participation, because it is you people only ultimately that is going to benefit. Whereas on the people on the other side are already the people who have that knowledge. So they are also coming into this platform for understanding and learning that much more from you. And I think the same should be on your side also. That is how we are supposed to be moving. That is how the things are supposed to be having. Latika ma'am, congratulations for taking on this particular activity, for taking on this particular mantle of putting this together, for making these things a reality. What is something which is a thought about activity a few months back has today fructified, and we are actually speaking, getting connected together. Each one of us, every participant, every research scholar, every faculty member, the coordinators, management, the people who are invited, and the resource persons, everybody is on one platform. And I appreciate the work gone behind today's success and today's launch of the activity. Well done. Compliments to each one of you. Do look after your family ones. Do look after everybody connected. It's our sincere request to everybody that do not kind of fall prey to any kind of rumor mongering which is going to be happening around, once again primarily related to the health sector. Listen to the advice of the government, which will keep of us. So your role becomes that very important to successfully take the program. Congratulations, well done. Look forward to many more activities and initiatives. Look forward to many more collaborations with your institute. Do let us know what more we can do, what more we can actually contribute towards the improvement of the education system as such. Till then, best wishes and take care, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your continuous guidance and support. Under your guidance, we have already conducted series of 3 refresher programs last year, and we hope the same for this and the next year also. And this time, we have chosen this cybersecurity and autonomy topic for the election program. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks to all our esteemed speakers present over here. It's a 1 week program comprising of 16 sessions, and each session will be taken by the distinguished faculties from IITs, NITs, and industry experts. We hope at the end of the session, the participants will be benefited by the topic covered in this program and have in-depth knowledge of the topic on the subject. So, thank you, one and all. Thanks to all the delegates and the participants present over here. Thank you so much.
So, dear participants, a very warm welcome on behalf of Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus, Department of Information Technology, to all of you. Our today's speaker, I think, have joined Mr. Santosh. He is from Sufraja Technologies, Andhra Pradesh.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, all. This is Santosh from Superja Technologies. And yes, I'm going to share my screen. I hope it's visible to everyone. So just confirm me that it's visible and we shall continue this. Ma'am, is it visible? Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, sir. It is
Yeah.
visible.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So let's start. Yeah.
Dear participants, the Department of Information Technology, SSTC Bhilai, welcomes you all on this 1 week AICT IST sponsored refresher program on cybersecurity and autonomy. Our first session of the today's program will be taken by a very young, dynamic and talented person, Mr. Santosh Kumar Chaluvadi. He is the founder and CEO, Supraja Technologies. There is some brief profile summary of Santosh Kumar Chaluvadi, sir. He is one of the India's efficient cybersecurity analyst and an expert digital marketer. He is a digital marketer by profession and security enthusiast by passion. While pursuing his engineering itself, he has trained many young generation people and the students of more than 3,500 plus from various parts across Andhra Pradesh through his workshop, seminar, courses in cybersecurity, and this makes him one of the youngest student trainer in India. At the age of 20, he conducted his first workshop on blogging and ethical hacking, which was the beginning to this to his success in the field. And right now, he has helpful of workshop to train students, government, and the corporate organizations as well in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Again, uh, he has served some life-changing solution or services. After working on R&D for around 2 years, finally in the mid 2019, he has successfully developed a service or the solution of various techniques and strategies for the film industry through which he can kill piracy of any film in online up to 35% right now, and this beta service is being appreciated and adopted by various Tollywood film industry producers and heroes to safeguard their film from piracy in online and to gain more profile. By the end of 2023, his vision is to roll out a complete full packed service and solution where we can kill the piracy entirely 100% anywhere in the online for sure. There are some records and appreciations. He holds a national record in Limca Book of Records 2017, steering a committee member for United Conference on Cyberspace, ex-associate member for National Cyber Safety and Security Standards, awarded as a social media influencer 2019 on 13th June 2019 by Jigansa in association with the government of Andhra Pradesh, nominated for India 500 CEO Award 2019, invited and interviewed by ETV Andhra Pradesh news channel on 2019 for a special story interview on spy apps, appreciated by Mr. Sridhar Garu, Sub Inspector of Police at Central Crime Branch, Vijayawada on 23rd October 2018 for exclusively training him on a special investigation course which will be held him to solve the case study. Reviewed a great appreciation from our first Tollywood film industry client by Saptagiri for providing anti-piracy beta services. And his company Supraja Technology has been shortlisted for Top 50 Tech Companies Award 2019 conferred at Intercon Dubai, UAE. So I welcome you, sir. I welcome Mr. Santosh Kumar Chaluvadi, founder and CEO Supraja Technology, for the first session. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah. So now, so today's title is diving into the world of hacking. And so the first concept or topic we're going to discuss today is what is hacking? So the term hacking is basically whenever we hear the word called hacking, so everyone thinks that that's some kind of negative impact on people or anybody else. So here in information security or cyber security we call it as, so the term hacking is actually a process where we find the loopholes or say vulnerabilities in any operating system, let's say a software or a hardware device, okay, so that we can understand how that devices or the software can be compromised, and we can gain the unauthorized access and control over that particular system. Okay, so hacking is actually a process. It's just a process to find the weaknesses and vulnerabilities that exist in a software or a hardware, which compromises the security of that particular software or the hardware in order to gain unauthorized command and control. So the purpose of hacking may include to modify the system resources, or to damage the system resources, or to let's say it depends on the hacker, or the person who initiates this process called hacking. Sometimes in security perspective, as we security researchers, we want to use this hacking process in order to identify the vulnerabilities, so that we can secure these vulnerabilities and the systems from being uh, attacked by other hackers who have some negative intentions. Okay, so now that's what hacking is. And moving on, now we're going to learn about few terminologies in hacking. Okay, so let me explain you each and everything here, so whatever we're going to discuss in this session, in this morning session and the afternoon session, it'll be easy for you, right? So the first term we're going to discuss is called an attack. So basically, an attack is an attempt that a hacker or an attacker makes in order to break into the system. Let's say use the hacking techniques in order to take advantage on the vulnerabilities, so that he can gain the unauthorized access. So to perform an attack, there should be a vulnerability in that particular system which can be taken advantage by the hacker or the attacker, so that he can compromise the system, right? And the next term we're going to discuss is called a backdoor. So let's say a backdoor is just a design flaw, or it can be an accidental or a planned loophole that is created or generated while a software is designed, or a software is coded, or let's say a software is completely uh, created so soon after the coding is done. Okay, so let's say a backdoor it's just a loophole for the attacker, so that they can utilize that in order to enter into the system resources, and utilize the this particular loophole in order to dump every system resource that available in that particular system, or say database or a software. Okay, so that can be anywhere. It may be the backdoor, let's say it can be anywhere in the process of a software development. Okay, let's say if let's consider the first phase. Whenever a software needs to be designed is, they make a blueprint for, or they make a design for that particular software. So if at all there is a mistake in the designing of that particular software, okay, so that will be obviously impacting on the algorithm, as well as the code, as well as the output of the code. Okay, so let's say the mistake is done while the coding is done by the developer. Okay, so when the developer is using some C or Python or Java, whatever respective programming language they are, if at all they might ignore some code, or they might ignore some security mechanism while they code that particular software. Okay, so that will definitely impact on that particular software security. So it is literally allowing an attacker as a backdoor in order to enter into that particular software, so that the data inside the software or the database or the server will be compromised. So that's what a backdoor. So the third term is exploit. So basically exploit is a code which is used by the attackers to take advantage on the backdoors or the vulnerabilities. Okay, so an exploit that can be designed by the attacker himself, or it can be used to it's just a couple of process that is initiated by the attacker, just following the regular instructions given by the developer. Okay, so whatever it may be, an exploit is just the code or the process that is utilized by the attacker in order to take advantage on the vulnerability. So that gives an attacker the complete or unauthorized access to the data or the software application. Sometimes the exploit can also be called as a malware. So malware is a malicious software or a malicious script that performs damage on the software applications or the hardware. Okay. So the fourth term we're going to discuss is hardening. So hardening is actually a process of identifying these vulnerabilities and fixing those vulnerabilities on a system. So in scenarios we say like so our company is going to harden your security. So we're going to harden the security of a software or security of a network or a database. So the hardening is actually the process involved in identifying and fixing the vulnerabilities in the system. And moving on, so the next one is a patch. So basically a patch is just a small update or a fix that is given to the vulnerability of a application or a software program. So let's say a developer has done a mistake and he forgot to enable some security mechanisms or security plugins, and that's called a bug. So whenever there are some kind of mistakes in the code, that is called a bug. We know that. So a fix given to that bug is called a patch. So, and next one is called a payload. So coming to payload, we know what payload is actually. So the actual message in a data transfer. So we know the OSA model, how the data transfers from one system to other system. So in the entire data transmission between devices over the internet or the local area network, so the actual data inside the data packet will be called as a payload. Okay. Now, in hacking or ethical hacking or cybersecurity in terms of information security, a payload is actually part of the malware or a part of the exploit which will perform attack on the vulnerability. So in terms of hacking, the payload is actually a part of the exploit which will perform attack on the vulnerability, right? And moving on, the next term we're going to talk about is vulnerability. So a vulnerability, as discussed, a flaw in the system or the device that will leave a backdoor for the attacker to gain unauthorized access. So as I said in the backdoor, so that's where the backdoor is created where the vulnerability that exists in the program or the algorithm or even the design. So it depends where the mistake is done, whether it's in the design of the software or design of the hardware, or it's while writing the algorithm or coding the program or whatever, or even enabling some security plugins after the code is done and compiled. Okay. So wherever there is some mistake made by the developer or the designer or the compiler or whatever, that leads to a vulnerability which gives a weakness to the software or the hardware that is exploited by the attacker. Yep. And that's where the information breaches, security breaches happens because of the vulnerabilities. So that's a huge threat to any organization. And the next thing we're going to discuss is called pen testing or penetration testing. Okay, so pen testing or penetration testing is an authorized process in order to perform the vulnerability testing or vulnerability assessment against an operating system or against a software or a network or a database or entire organization network. Okay, so pen testing, so it's a process involved where we make agreement with the client and we get proper permissions from the respective officials in order to follow this hacking process where we are going to evaluate the security of the network, security of the software, security of the hardware or the biometrics or the entire network in the particular organization. So that's what called as pen testing. Moving on. So here now we're going to discuss about zero-day vulnerability and zero-day attack. So we already discussed what is a vulnerability. Now we're going to discuss about zero-day vulnerability. So let me tell you what a zero-day vulnerability is. A zero-day vulnerability is a vulnerability that exists in a software or a hardware, okay, which is unknown to the developer. So the developer is unaware that his program or his software or his hardware has a vulnerability in it. And if any other individual security researcher or a pen tester or a hacker or an ethical hacker identifies this vulnerability, which is unaware of the developer, so that vulnerability is called a zero-day vulnerability. I repeat, a zero-day vulnerability, it's a vulnerability which is unaware by the developer but identified by an individual security researcher or another developer or a ethical hacker or a pen tester. Okay, and now coming to zero-day attack. So a zero-day attack is the attack performed on the zero-day vulnerabilities or utilizing the zero-day vulnerabilities. So let me tell you here. So when a zero-day attack is when this zero-day attack is considered, when the attack is performed, let's say if the patch for this zero-day vulnerability is not released. So let's consider the developer has identified his software is having a vulnerability. Okay, that's a zero-day vulnerability. Okay, and it takes him let's say it takes him a week of time to fix that or release a patch for that vulnerability for his software. So there is a 1 week of time for the release of the patch. So in between, the software is still vulnerable to this vulnerability, still exploitable because of this vulnerability. So if any attacker or a black hat attacker or any threat actor takes advantage of this zero-day vulnerability before the first patch is released, so that attack is called a zero-day attack. I hope it's understood by you. So here is an example of a zero-day vulnerability in the iPhone application, the iPhone mobiles application, the default email application. Okay, so let me show you that. And I'm going to share this link in the chat box and you can use it later. Right. So here it is. Now, so here is a zero-day vulnerability that existed in iPhone mobiles and with the iOS version between iOS 6 to the latest version, like the older version, iOS 13.4.0. Okay, so that means that between the iOS 6, the release of iOS version 6 to the release of iOS version 13.4.0, that's 8 years. It's a span of 8 years. So since between these 8 years, there is a zero-day vulnerability existed in this iPhone application called the default email application. Okay, so the default iOS email application has a zero-day vulnerability which is not identified for 8 years. And consider any attacker has identified this and they haven't reported that to the respective organization. That means the Apple company. So any attacker can take advantage of it. So let me explain you what happens with this vulnerability. There are actually two zero-day vulnerabilities in this iOS email application. So the first vulnerability, uh, dear participants, I request you to mute your mics so it won't be disturbance to others.
सर मैं जो समझा हूँ उसको बता हेलो
Dear host, can you please mute the mic of the participant?
हेलो 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 हेलो
Yes, dear participant. Yes, Piyush sir. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So now let's continue with the session. So here there are actually two zero-day vulnerabilities existed in this email application, right? So the first email of the first zero-day vulnerability lets an attacker to send an email to the victim's device. Okay, so once the victim receives the email, let me tell you what happens here. The victim's device doesn't display the email received. I repeat, the victim's email application doesn't display the email message received by the victim. And the second zero-day vulnerability lets the attacker to take complete control over the iOS mobile, the Apple mobile. I repeat, the first zero-day vulnerability
वो जो
will
लिंक
let
भेजा
the
है ना
attacker to send an
अटेंडेंस वाला एक
malicious
इस
email
सेशन का और
to the
अगले सेशन का
victim's device, the victim's email, and
तो मुझे
that
वो
is
लिंक
not at
भेजना
all
है
displayed to the victim's email application. If the victim opens his email app, he doesn't see that email received, but the email
भेजना है
exists
मुझे
there.
ये फर्स्ट सेशन
Because
का
of
है
the
इसका मैंने
vulnerability,
कल
the email is not
वो थोड़ी
displayed,
देर बाद
and
भेजना
the second zero-day vulnerability
हाँ
will let the
हाँ
attacker to take
ये
complete
अभी
control over the mobile device. So whatever the contacts or the other emails or the messages or the camera and everything or the microphone speaker, everything that exists in that particular mobile device will be under the control of the attacker. So that's a critical zero-day vulnerability, and it is unaware to the Apple company for 8 years. So until the this version of iOS 13.4.1 is released, because for the version of iOS 13.4.2, the patch is available. So if you are using an Apple device and your iOS version is between iOS 6 to 13.4.1, please immediately update your iOS software to the latest version. I guess the latest version is iOS 15. Okay, so I'm not sure about that. Okay, and if at all the attack is failed, so here is an screenshot. I mean, here is a picture which lets us know what happens if the attack is failed. See, I already told you what happens if the attack is successful. If the attack is successful, the message won't be displayed and the victim is completely unaware of what happened. So if the attack is failed, this is what happens. The message will be displayed like this. It says the message's content cannot be displayed because of the way it is formatted. So whatever the code or whatever the text that is given in the message, email message, will not be displayed, and no information will be stored in the server, okay, let's say, or in the cloud. So the vulnerabilities, even though they fail, they won't leave any information except the email message. So from whom the email is coming, and attackers, they don't regularly use the emails. They use some fake emails to forward the payloads and everything, so that there won't be any traces left who have sent that particular email to to this victim. Okay, so I hope you understood this. And don't worry, if your iOS version is the latest version, this vulnerability won't affect your mobile devices. So I hope you understood what exactly is a zero-day vulnerability and the impact of a zero-day vulnerability is. So moving on, the last term we're going to discuss is called doxing. A doxing is actually a practice made by researchers and pen testers in order to gather as much as publicly available information along with the private information which is publicly available using the internet resources, and they gather the information about the organization or an individual they are targeting. So doxing is actually a process of documentation. We can also call it as collection of documents. Okay, so the documents might be publicly available documents which have private data or public data. It depends on the information that is available there. I repeat, the process of gathering documents which are publicly available is called doxing, and that documents might have a private data, but it was publicly available. And so this process of gathering the documents using the internet resources is called doxing. So the doxing can be performed against an individual person or an organization also, or a group of organizations, by a researcher or a hacker or an ethical hacker. So That's what doxing is. And here is an example of a doxing, the output of doxing here. So a few anonymous hackers have performed doxing on the ex-president of US, Donald Trump. So let's see that. So here is a link where the collected information regarding the ex-president of US is here. So I'm going to share that link in the chat box. Here is a query from Saurav Pandya. So can a unauthorized user can take access of our Android phone using text messages only without using a software or any patch? It depends. It depends on the version of the mobile we are using. So the version of the Android, older versions, let's say KitKat version, ice cream sandwich versions, or let's say lollipop version of Androids are vulnerable to such attacks. So there are a couple of codes, some kind of zero-day vulnerabilities that existed in these versions until Lollipop edition. Let's say version the fifth version of Android, which are vulnerable to such attacks. But if you are using the latest version, let's say Android 11 or Android 10 or Android 12, so you this attack is not going to be successful for the attacker. So just by sending text messages, your mobile cannot be hacked. But let me tell you, there are plenty other ways the attackers can do. Let's say they're sending an they're sending a link to click on that. Let's say they send you a link saying that, so here is the latest details of COVID, or latest information about something which is trending and all. So if any person clicks on that link, maybe there is a chance a malware or a malicious script gets executed on your Android device, and your device will be compromised. So it can be that message can be sent from WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, or just your regular SMS application. So it depends on on the victim. If they click and proceed according to the information given, so there are higher chances of the device getting hijacked or compromised. Yep. So now continuing with the session topic. So coming to doxing of Donald Trump. So here it is. Let me zoom in for you. So the reason they gave for doxing is like, do we really need one? Okay, and that sounds funny. And here they are giving couple of divisions for the information. Let's say personal information, and moving on, location of the person, and online information of that person, and family information. And if you still scroll on, financial or criminal record, and financial assets and everything is given here. So let's see what's inside this doxed content. Okay, right? So coming to the first, we can see his personal information: first name, middle name, last name, and height, weight, the shoe color, date of birth, age, and the birth certificate is also provided here. His education details, his occupations before before president and being as a president here, and his time zones, religious views, political views, and statement of candidacy, and Republican pledge. Every information is provided here, and his net worth and his medical conditions, all these details are provided here. And also few and here is a social security number, SSN, and that number, it's something like the Aadhaar card number for us, so which gives every information about our assets or financial details or everything which is under the government. So that's completely censored, because that leads to a lot of security breach for the Donald Trump. Okay, and if we scroll up, here we got the birth certificate, and they have provided an link here. So let me open that and show you. So that's actually birth certificate. Okay, let me show the image of the birth certificate. So let me open that for you. Yeah, so here is a birth certificate of Donald J. Trump. You can see. So he was born on June 14, 1946. You can see, and Queens. So his father's name, mother's name, every details are provided here. So using doxing, attackers or researchers can grab such content. Okay, I hope you understood that. If I still scroll down, his location details, where he live, and his current address is provided here. His longitude, latitude, location of the address is provided here. Previous addresses. See, doxing is where the private information, the physical addresses or the other details or social media details or even the personal mobile numbers or emails will also be gathered by the researchers. Okay, hope you understood that. Okay, right. So moving on, I hope you understood all the terms here: attack, backdoor, exploit, hardening, and patch, payload, vulnerability, pen testing or penetration testing, zero-day attack and zero-day vulnerability, and doxing. So these are the terms we're going to discuss and use. And so moving on, the next topic we're going to discuss is types of hackers. So there are different types of hackers based on the way they use their skills or they use their hacking skills. Okay, so there are three main types of hackers. The first one is a white hat hacker, the second one is a black hat hacker, and the third one is a gray hat hacker. These three are the main types of hackers, and the rest of the types there are 36 plus classifications of hackers. Okay, there are 36 plus classifications of hackers. The three main types of hackers are white hat, black hat, and gray hat. So we're going to discuss a few types of hackers here. So first, coming to white hat hacker. A white hat hacker is actually a hacker who is authorized to perform hacking, or let's say he's a certified hacker who is working for an organization or a government in order to perform penetration testing so that he can evaluate the security of the government or the organization and provide respective patches and updates for them. Okay, so here is an example of such a white hat hacker called Marcus Hutchins. So let me show you that. So I'm going to share that link in the chat box. So Marcus Hutchins is a malware analyst by profession. Okay, and if you have ever heard of this word called ransomware or WannaCry ransomware attack, that had happened in 2017 in the months of March, April, and May. Okay, so that was a huge cyber attack happened in the entire world in 2017 in the months of April, May. Okay, so where a ransomware, which is a malware, has attacked every system that was vulnerable to the malware, and it started compromising the devices, and it won't let the victims to have access to their own systems, to their servers, to their MRIs, to their operating systems, to their devices and everything. Okay, and it was a huge cyber attack, as I mentioned, and the solution for that cyber attack, for that malware called WannaCry ransomware, was provided by this malware analyst called Marcus Hutchins. He has stopped the spreading of the WannaCry ransomware, and he has provided the solution in order to kill the spreading of that WannaCry ransomware, and he has secured thousands and thousands of computers around the world. Okay, that's how the white hat hackers be like. They provide security, they kill cyber attacks. So I hope you understood that. And the next one is a black hat hacker, where the black hat hackers intention is completely negative, and they want to gain unauthorized access to the systems and the system resources. They might sometimes destroy the information if at all that's their intention. Okay, I hope you understood what black hat hackers is. And here is an example of such a black hat hacker called Maxim Yakubets. So he's a Russian hacker. Let me tell you what his intention was and what he has done. Okay, so I'm going to share that link anyhow. Yeah, please make a note of that so that you can read through that article and understand what exactly that hacker or hacker has done, so that you can have a clear information about that. So basically, this guy is Marcus Hutchins. So I'm sorry, he's called Maxim Yakubets. This is the guy, and he's a black hat hacker. So he has stolen around $100 million over a period of 10 years using a malware called Dridex Banking Trojan. Okay, he started spreading that malware to the US citizens. Okay, and where if anybody opens that emails, so as we have seen in the 0 day attack in Apple, where the attackers send the emails, the malicious emails, same process is used by this Maxim Yakubovich, where this Trojan or this malware called Dridex Banking Trojan is forwarded via emails or spreaded around the internet, targeting the US citizens. And Maxim Yakubovich, he's actually the leader of Evil Corp hacking group. He's the leader of Evil Corp hacking group. Okay, and he created that malware, the Dridex banking Trojan, using two other uh, malwares called Bugat and Crydex. Okay, and what happened was anybody who opens that malicious email were victims to this malware. And when that victim performs any online transaction, digital transaction or banking transactions, this malware which has compromised that particular system, okay, so it is going to uh, just modify the transaction to the attacker's account. See, let's say the amount should be given to some X person, and when this malware has identified there is some banking transaction, online transaction is being performed on this system, it is going to modify the beneficiary details. It is going to modify the beneficiary details to the attacker's accounts. Okay, so that with this process, the attacker has, or say this hacker, black hat hacker, has stolen around $100 million over a period of 10 years, targeting the US citizens. Okay, and you can see this his intention, why he has to do that. He wants to buy Lamborghinis, he wants to buy Audi cars, he just want to have a great wedding. And you can see these are the actual pictures of luxury that this black hat hacker has had from the stolen money. Okay, so that's what black hat hackers are. They just want to steal money and have luxury. Some, it depends on the black hat hackers intentions. Okay, I hope you understood. And FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, has rewarded $5 million to whoever identifies the location or tracks down this black hat hacker Maxim Yakubovich. It was in 2019. Okay, and moving on, the other type of hacker is gray hat hacker, where gray hat hackers are stand between the black hat hacker and the white hat hacker, as the name suggests. Okay, so these hackers use their hacking skills. It depends on the mindset at that moment of time. They might be working for an organization, or they might be working for a government. Okay, so but suddenly their intentions make them to behave in such a way that, or they wants to misuse the information or misuse the vulnerabilities they identified, that might be for their personal gain. Okay, so such hackers are called as gray hat hackers. See, it depends on their mindset. They might use them for uh, personal gain or professional gain. If it is for professional gain, they stand as white. If they use it for personal gain, they go for a black. So that's why they are called gray hat hackers. And here is such an example of a gray hat hacker called Alexei. And Alexei is not his original name, it's a pseudonym. Share that link. So here, so there was this gray hat hacker called Alexei. He's also a Russian hacker. Okay, and he has identified a vulnerability, a 0 day vulnerability that existed in routers connected in the internet, called from the company Microtik routers. So there is this company called Microtik routers company, where they manufacture routers. Okay, and it's quite common in Russian country, where there are around 100,000, let's say 1 million routers established inside the country. Okay, and they have a 0 day vulnerability, which lets any attacker or anybody who knows that they can access the router and modify the router or redirect the users or devices under that router to any malicious site or any malicious website or any or even uh, upload a malware into the devices connected under the router. Okay, so there was such a risk or such a threat in that microtic routers around the country. Okay, now this was identified by this LXA. Now what has he done? See, if it is a black hat hacker or his intentions were negative, he can use that uh, vulnerability and spread a lot of malware into the entire country, take complete control of the every network around the world, sorry, around the country. But he haven't done that. He has provided a patch for that vulnerability he identified. He unauthorizedly accessed every router he identified. There are around 100,000 microtic routers. He manually accessed each and every router and blocked the access to the router from outside the local area network. Okay, so that means no attacker from the internet can take control over the router inside that office, inside the home, or inside that organization, because he blocked the access by adding a rule in the firewall so that the access to the router from the internet or the public network is blocked. Okay, so that was his intention. But why he is called as a gray hat hacker, not white hat hacker? Let me tell you, he doesn't have permissions to access the routers. He has done that unauthorizedly. So that's why, even though he has unauthorizedly accessed that, he added the firewall rules to block the access to the router from the local outside the local area network. So he's provided a patch for that. Okay, so that's why he's called as a gray hat hacker. Okay, I hope you understood that. So moving on, other types of hackers. We have blue hat hacker, red hat hacker, and green hat hacker. Coming to blue hat hacker. So blue hat hacker can also be called a mature hacker. Okay, and their intentions are to take revenge. Okay, so if a hacker, let's consider a hacker is using their skills to take revenge on their target or revenge on their enemy, so that at that moment of time they are called as a blue hat hackers. Okay, so now here is such an example for a blue hat hacker called Cyber Anakim. This is also a pseudonym, not his original name, because no hackers or black hat or blue hat hackers or red hackers, they don't reveal their information. Okay, is that again? Yeah. So here is, so basically let me tell you what happened here. He's a teenage hacker. He's a teenager and he targeted the Russian website. And this hacker is a Malaysian hacker. Okay. So now let me tell you what happens here. So he actually targeted all the Russian websites and taken down the websites, and he completely removed the website code. Unless and until that's, I mean, he targeted every Russian website, okay, and he completely deleted the code of that website. Whatever the code is there inside that web page, he deleted the web pages and everything, and he uploaded a single page saying that I have attacked this website on the revenge. It's because he wants to take revenge for the MH17 flight crash, which was resulted in the death of 298 people. Okay, so in 2015 or 16, I don't remember properly, there was a flight crash called MH17 flight crash by the Russian terrorists. That flight number is MH17, and it caused a death of 298 people. And someone related to this teenage hacker was killed in this flight crash, and he wants to take revenge on Russia. So he has, what has he done was he targeted every Russian website and taken it down. He deleted the source code and he just placed that this is to take to avenge on the death of 298 people who were brutally died in this flight crash. Okay, that was his intention. I hope you understood that. And so the next one is a red hat hacker. Coming to red hat hacker, so red hat hackers are hackers who wants to take down the black hat hackers and their activities or destroy their plans. Let me repeat that again. Red hat hackers are against the black hat hackers. They want to take down the black hat hackers and their plans in order to perform the cyber attacks. Okay, so here is an example of red hat hackers. So basically in the year 2015, FBA has rewarded any security researcher or university researcher $1 million, up to $1 million, whoever identifies the original IP address of a darknet user or a black hat hacker who is hiding under a Tor network. I hope you have an idea about what darknet is, or let me give a simple statement about darknet. So there are three different internets. One is the web surfing. One is a surface web. The second one is deep web. The third one is dark web. Okay, so surface web is like every website which we can or every internet resource which we can access via the regular mobile internet, or I mean a regular mobile browsers, or Google browser or a Firefox browser. Okay, they are in the internet network. And the deep web is where the databases are stored, the internal networks, or say let's say intranet. So the entire intranet where only the it is only inside the particular organization, and only the devices connected in that particular network can access the data. Any devices from the internet cannot access that data or connect it to that devices. That's called deep web. And finally is the dark web, where dark web is a separate network, okay, which can be accessed from specially created browsers like Tor browser. So, or we can also call it as an Onion browser. So, why the name? So, we know Onion has plenty of layers in that, right? So, basically, this Tor browser or Onion browsers anonymity layers for you. So it provides you such an anonymity for you. Let's say it's similar to, see, as an onion has so many layers, okay, such way in similarly we get
नेटवर्क गया.
browsers in order to access or in order to enter into the darknet. Okay, now what happened here is all the black hat hackers, okay, so anybody who has negative intentions, spammers or scammers, everybody started using this Tor network or the darknet, where they have plenty of layers of anonymity. That means their location, they cannot be traced. Okay, so they are into the darknet so that they cannot be traced, and they can perform any kind of illegal activities in that, selling drugs, selling guns, selling ammo, or selling or stealing information, or selling databases, selling stolen accounts, and a lot of illegal activities can be performed there. Okay, now I hope you understood what is this Tor users or a Tor network or a darknet. Now what happened is FBI wants to put a full stop for that, and it's not in they have in 2015 they took an initiative where they're going to reward up to $1 million to any researcher they who unmask the Tor users or provide the original IP address of the user or the cyber attackers under the Tor network. So every university researcher or a security researcher who are software engineers or software students, and every computer scientists, everyone started to break down the algorithm of a Tor browser and started to identify the vulnerabilities in that, so that they can identify the original IP address hiding in the Tor network. So there are a few security researchers or the university researchers who de-anonymized the Tor users. They have de-anonymized thousands of Tor users or black hat hackers or cyber criminals. Okay, I hope you understood that. So that's how the red hat hackers are. And moving on, we have green hat hackers. So coming to green hat hackers are they're actually researchers. We can call them as researchers, but they don't use their hacking skills. They learn hacking. They just want to understand what hacking is. They want to explore the world of hacking. They join the learning communities. They join courses. They join cyber security communities, hacking communities, or ethical hacking communities. They participate in conferences and a lot of things. And they watch a lot of tutorials in YouTube or any other platforms or Udemy or an academy or everywhere. They just want to gather knowledge from cyber of hacking, the world of hacking, ethical hacking, and cybersecurity. They just want knowledge. So whoever have intentions to gather knowledge about hacking or security or ethical hacking are called as green hat hackers, right? Moving on, we have other three types of hackers called state-sponsored hackers, script kiddies, and cyber terrorists. Coming to state-sponsored hackers are actually hackers who are hired by the government organizations, or let's say the country, or or international agency. So let's say cybersecurity agency, in order to secure their information, secure their data, secure their networks, also to perform cyber attacks on the targets or enemy countries or enemy governments and all. Okay, so state sponsored hackers, as the name itself suggests, they are sponsored. That means hackers are sponsored by the agencies or governments or the nations in order to secure the country's data or government data, also to participate in the cyber warfare. Okay, so here is an example of such cyber warfare, where this was in the times of COVID-19, the initial stages of COVID-19, where the lockdowns were made in China, Russia, North Korea, and everywhere. Okay, so cyber spies, or let's say the cyber criminals, they started using the COVID-19 as an prey to spread the malwares via emails to a lot of victims around the world. Okay, so what happened is, so these cyber attackers or cyber criminals, they started creating an COVID-19 themed emails. They say, hey, this is the latest information about the COVID-19 vaccine, and see, China has provided a vaccine to the COVID-19, and there is a variant, some kind of information which will attract the users, because we know COVID-19 has affected a lot of people, everybody in entire world. We know what was COVID-19 is, right? So everybody is very enthusiastic, and they wanted to know what's happening around the world. And if any information regarding COVID-19 was there, we immediately look into that information. Okay, so so hackers utilize this as a prey to the victims to spread their malware, and they created COVID-19 themed a draft email and spread that to the entire world. And the state sponsored hackers from these governments, from Chinese government, North Korean government, and Russian government, so these state-sponsored hackers have taken down the cyber criminals in this process. Okay, so they have identified these cyber criminals who are targeting victims and who are actually spreading the malware using COVID-19 themes. So all the state-sponsored hackers from Russian government and Chinese government and North Korean government, so they have initiated this program and started taking down all these cyber criminals. Okay, so there were a lot of tweets made regarding these kind of COVID-19 kind of emails and everything. So they have made a lot of efforts in order to take down the cyber criminals in that period of time, and it's still going on. Okay, so that's what state sponsored hackers are. And the next category of hackers are called script kiddies. Script kiddies are, we can also call them as kid. in short form. These are actually an unskilled hackers. They don't really have hacking skills or ethical hacking skills. Okay, they just follow the process that is explained in a tutorial or in a community or in a workshop. Okay, and they just follow that process in order to hack a Wi-Fi network, in order to hack into a website which is vulnerable. So sometimes these script kiddies, they might be dangerous. They don't know what they are doing. They just follow the process, and sometimes they might lead to a lot of a huge cyber attack in the world also. Okay, so and let me tell you, they are unaware of the cyber laws also. They don't know what happens, whether it's legal or illegal. They're just kiddies, and they just are enthusiastic about using the process, utilizing that hacking process, and gaining the information, or without knowing what is the impact of that hack or something. Okay, so here is such an example of script kiddie. Let me tell you what happened. So there is a 15-year-old script kiddie, and who has found a vulnerability in a telecom company's website. Okay, so I'm going to share that link first. Yeah, so telecom company website called Talk Company. Okay, so it is based in United Kingdom. Okay, so he has used an technique called SQL injection. Okay, there is a small attack or a vulnerability called SQL injection vulnerability that lets any attacker to bypass a login, or to dump the database from the database server, or to modify the database tables or information inside the database tables without authorization. I repeat, without any authorization, any attacker can use this SQL injection vulnerability in order to exploit the database, retrieve the database, modify the database, or replace the passwords of admins, or even bypass the login of any user. That might be an administrator of the website or that software also. Okay, so now this script kiddie, who is 15-year-old, has identified the SQL injection vulnerability in the Talk Telecom group's administrator login page, and he was able to bypass the login. And what has he done was, he started spreading that word in the internet, saying that, so I have the database of telecom company, and I'll provide it for you a particular price. Just message me. So he started promoting himself that he has the database of telecom company, he has entire access, and he's going to provide that database for a ransom amount. So that led many cyber criminals to breach the database from the telecom group company's database server. That was a huge cyber attack. That was a huge threat to the telecom company. Okay, hope you understood that. And this 15-year-old kid doesn't have an idea that's a crime. He just performed that, and he just wanted to earn money. He don't know that's illegal. He might be knowing that illegal, but he didn't bother about doing the illegal activity here. He just wanted to use his skills in order to make money, and he was caught by the police and FBI. That was another thing. You can read this article, and you can get full information here. Okay. And so the next type of hacker is a cyber terrorist. So basically, cyber terrorists are terrorists who utilize the internet resources or hacking skills in order to spread the terrorism around the world. Okay, or their enemy countries. So any terrorists who use hacking skills in order to break into the networks or military databases of their target country, or want to spread terror around the world, are comes under cyber terrorists. I'm moving on. Here are three other types of cyber terrorists. I'm sorry, hackers. The final three types we're discussing today, called social engineering hackers, elite hackers, and malicious insider or whistleblower. Coming to social engineering hackers, are hackers who manipulate the victims via their voice or text messages or emails. So they just trick the victims through their words, through their text messages, making the victims believe whatever they're saying or whatever they're texting is genuine, and trick them to believe what they're saying, and retrieve some sensitive or confidential data, or let's say some private data which should not be revealed, or it should not be disclosed. Okay, so here is such an example of a social engineer hacker, right? So let me show you that. Can I share that link in the chat box? Make a note of it. Now here it is. So recently there was a hack, a social engineering hack on Twitter. So Twitter was hacked by a 17-year-old social engineer hacker called Graham Ivan Clark. Okay, he used social engineering techniques to trick the employees of Twitter. He just made the Twitter employees believe that he is calling them from IT department of Twitter, and he wanted their credentials and provide the softwares the employees are using in order to manage the Twitter accounts. I repeat, this social engineer hacker who is 17-year-old Graham Ivan Clark, he has tricked manipulated the Twitter employees, impersonating himself as a IT department or IT employee of Twitter, and made them provide their credentials, provide their username password to this hacker, and also provide the softwares used by the Twitter employees, which are used to manage the Twitter accounts of any Twitter user. Okay, so using that software and the credentials, this social engineering hacker has hacked Twitter accounts of Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and even Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, and even all the celebrities also. And he tweeted like offered to pay double the price of the bitcoins if you send bitcoins of 1 bitcoin, he's going to provide you 2 bitcoins. So it's like he just tweeted like it's a giveaway from the CEOs or from the presidents of US and everything, or Microsoft co-founders Bill Gates and Tesla CEOs, saying that he tweeted from their account saying that, so I'm going to provide you bitcoins back to you, provide me 1 bitcoin and I'm going to pay you 2 bitcoins, like that. So he used their Twitter accounts to tweet such a fake tweets, and there was a rise, and there are plenty of people who believe that, and they have paid the bitcoins to the given address, the bitcoin address. And that was just performed by uh, 2 or more people, including the main suspect is Graham Ivan Clark, and he just used some hacking techniques along with socializing techniques. He spoofed the phone numbers of Twitter employees and called to other Twitter employees, impersonating himself as an IT employee of Twitter, and he needs their Twitter employee credentials and software in order to do some modifications and testings. So that made the inter employees to believe what he said, and they gave him the credentials. So using the credentials only, he was able to log in into the software and access the high profile Twitter accounts. See, it's that's how the social media hackers be like. Okay, I hope you understood that. And the next one is elite hackers. Elite hackers are called as a cutting edge genius of the world of hacking. Okay, so they are also, let's say, they can also be considered as innovators of field of hacking. Okay, they can hack anything. They have a higher knowledge of hacking or ethical hacking and security or cyber security. They're just real experts in the field of hacking. Okay, and finally we have malicious insider or whistleblower. Okay, let me tell you one thing here. So malicious insider or whistleblower is actually a hacker or an employee of an government organization or an private agency, and he uses his hacking skill in order to steal the information or steal the softwares or credentials or any sensitive confidential information from the organization or from the network, and he's going to reveal that, or let's say he's going to uh, use them for his own purpose, or to make marketize that information or reveal that publicly, or to make money out of that information. Or sometimes, let's say, consider an agency, okay, is going to do some damage to the society with their intentions or with their projects and all. So that is not liked by the employee, and he has some hacking skills. Okay, so this is in this scenario, this particular hacker is going to steal every possible information he can grab from the malicious projects or the bad projects. Okay, so which might damage the society. Let's say it's a bio war, it's a cyber or whatever that is done. Every proof is collected by the employee using some hacking skills, and he's going to get out of the company or come out of the state or the city, or say let's say nation. He's going to some other nation, and he's going to reveal that information to the public, or to the social media, let's say, or to the media, any media. Okay, so he's going to spread a word that say, that agency or the country or the government are going to take an initiative which is going to damage the society, which is going to destroy the society or the health of the society, or they're going to initiate a bio war, or let's say cyber attack or something. Okay, so they are called whistleblowers. See, that's a difference here. That hacker is considered as a malicious insider for the organization, and he is considered as a whistleblower for the society, because he is alerting the society that there is a threat coming to the society, so they need to be secure, they need to secure themselves. Okay, but for the organization, for the company or the agency, he is considered as a malicious insider because he is unauthorizedly stealing the information. Okay, that's what a malicious insider or a whistleblower comes under the same category. Now, here is such an example of malicious insider or a whistleblower, right? So I'm going to share that link. Okay, famously known as Snowden, called Edward Snowden. So he's actually a former employee of, as a former U.S. citizen, and is an employee of CIA and NSA. Okay, so he's actually a former employee of CIA, and for a project, he went on to NSA, which is a National Security Agency of U.S. National Security Agency, and he identified United Nations secrets where they are using a lot of security compromises, security breaches in order to take advantage of the privacy of the users and citizens. Okay, so they use this technique called prism. There is this technology called prism, where this prism can grab each and every data, each and every message that transfers under its network to the NSA's network or to the NSA servers. So whatever we talk, whatever the citizens speak, whatever the citizens do, every information under the US citizens or under the US networks or servers will be sent to the NSA, US's NSA. Okay, let me tell you it in a brief. See, let's say we are browsing internet, and our information is going through the US servers. Okay, see, whenever we access the internet, so our data, our connections will be going through the US networks, right? US or UK networks, right? Every data packet is made a copy, and that copy of our data, our message or webcams or our live communications, everything will be made a copy, and that is sent to the NSA's network or NSA servers. Okay, so that means there is no privacy at all. Whatever we speak, whatever we browse, whatever we text, whatever the transactions we do, every data is made a copy and stored and analyzed by the US NSA. Okay, so that means there is no protection at all, there is no privacy at all. That is not at all liked by Edward Snowden. Okay, and he immediately gathered each and every proof, every data, every tools, every information that he can prove that the NSA is stealing the information, stealing the privacy of the users and the citizens and around the world. And he gathered every information, and he flew from US to Russia, and he revealed that information from the from this journalist, uh, media called The Guardian. So there is The Guardian journalist organization in Russia. So he made an interview and he exclusively given an interview and he revealed that information that NSA is actually stealing the privacy of the users and there is no privacy at all in the internet. And he suggested a lot of tools in order or browsers in order to protect our privacy and all. Okay, I hope you understood that. So you can also read this article so that you know what happened and everything. Yep. So that's what regarding different types of hackers. So here we are: white hat hacker, black hat hacker, and gray hat hacker. White hat, they work for the organizations and secure their data. Black hat, they don't work for any organization. Their intention is completely negative. They want to steal data, gain unauthorized access, destroy data. They want to make money or whatever. And next one is a gray hat hacker who stands between the white hat and black hat. They might use their skills for personal or professional gain. And blue hat hacker, whose intention is to take revenge on their enemy. And red hat hacker, where these hackers are against the black hat hackers to take down their schemes and plans and track down the black hat hackers locations. And green hat hackers, they just want to learn about the world of hacking. And state sponsored hackers are hackers who are hired by governments or sponsored by governments or nations in order to secure their data and secure their networks, also to participate in the cyber warfare. And script kiddies, who are unskilled hackers and wanted to use just follow the process and that sometimes lead to a lot of cyber attacks or damages, cyber threats. Next, cyber terrorists who use hacking skills in order to spread terrorism. Social engineer hackers who manipulate victims with their words, with their messages, with their draft emails, with the fake websites and everything in order to steal credentials, steal sensitive and confidential information, or sometimes take complete control of the accounts, like we have seen in the how the Twitter accounts are taken control by this 17-year-old kid. And next, elite hackers, these are cutting edge geniuses in the field of hacking. Next one is a malicious insider or whistleblower, where they leak the sensitive information from the company or the organization or from the government to the society or the public. So their intention can be negative or their intention can be something where they want to spread about the awareness to the society. That's it. And moving on, we're going to discuss about phases of hacking. See, we have seen different types of hackers. So whatever the hacker may be, whatever the type of hacker he may be or her may be, they are going to follow the 5 phases. Okay, so initially they're going to follow these 5 phases in order to perform the hack or follow the process. So let me tell you and explain you what are the 5 phases of hacking here. So the first phase of hacking is information gathering. The second phase of hacking is network scanning or scanning. The third phase of hacking is gaining access. The fourth phase of hacking is maintaining access. And the final phase of hacking is clearing tracks. So information gathering, scanning or network scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing tracks. So there are total 5 phases of hacking. Now, let me tell you what each and every phase is. So, coming to information gathering. So, this is a preparation phase where the attacker is going to gather as much as information about their target. So, that can be done by directly interacting with the target or indirectly interacting with the target. Sometimes they only use the internet available resources in order to gather the information. And we can also say that doxing is one of the process they perform in this phase. Okay, where they collect all the available information, the publicly available information, where the publicly available information might have some private data or some sensitive data. Okay, so that's what information gathering is, where the hackers create a blueprint of their cyber attack or the hack. See, in this information gathering, they collect every information that is required for them in order to uh, proceed with the next four phases of hacking. What they should do in the network scanning phase, what they have to do in the gaining access phase, how they need to exploit that, and how they need to hide their hacking activities and everything. Okay, so now the second phase is network scanning or scanning phase, where in this phase they identify the vulnerabilities or identify the weaknesses or loopholes that exist in the networks, target network or systems or softwares, or the targeted person also. Okay, so scanning is a phase where the attacker or the hacker is going to identify the vulnerabilities required in order to uh, gain access or take advantage of the vulnerabilities. Okay, so they're going to perform network scanning. Okay, let's say every company has their own network of systems, routers and switches and database and everything are under the network, right? And here the attacker is going to use some kind of port scanners, some kind of tools called port scanners, where they're going to scan the target networks based on their IP addresses and the IP ranges and everything. So they're going to identify the a number of devices that are connected in the network, and the routers, whether it's a router, whether they're using Linux operating system or a Windows operating systems, and what kind of softwares are used in that particular operating in that particular devices, and what are the softwares that are installed in that operating system, and how many users are logged in, how many user accounts are there inside that particular device. Such a sensitive information or private information inside the device can be grabbed by the attacker in the network scanning phase, where this entire information will lead the attacker to identify the vulnerabilities so that he can utilize that as a backdoor to gain the unauthorized access. Okay, so I hope you understood that scanning is a phase where the attacker identify vulnerabilities by performing network scanning and vulnerability assessment or vulnerability scanning. And after all the vulnerabilities are identified, he will make a note of each and every vulnerability identified, and he will do some kind of research on the vulnerabilities. Then he goes to the third phase of hacking called gaining access, wherein the gaining access is where the identified vulnerabilities are taken advantage in order to exploit them. I repeat, gaining access is the phase where identified vulnerabilities are taken advantage in order to exploit them to gain unauthorized access. Okay, so unauthorized access is gained in this phase, as the name suggests itself. Okay, so here the attackers are going to use some kind of malwares or exploits or some follow some kind of procedure in order to gain the unauthorized access. And once they have successfully gained the unauthorized access, so let's say it can be to the root level or the, let's say, or a guest level, or let's say administrator level. It depends on the impact of the vulnerability. Okay, so whatever the attacker is going to gain the unauthorized access here, he's going to compromise the security. And moving on, once the security is compromised and he got the access, he will be moving on to the fourth phase of hacking called maintaining access. So coming to the maintaining access phase, in this phase the attacker is going to hide his activities or hide his attacking technique or hide his entry into that network. See, if a extra device is connected in the network, obviously that will alert the administrator or the network admin. So this alerting will be stopped or will be hidden by the attacker using some kind of techniques here. So that means he's going to keep a low profile when he's compromised the network or compromise the system. So he's going to use some kind of rootkits or some kind of backdooring into the system. So he's not going to enter into the same way the administrators log in into the system. He's going to create his own backdoor. That means he might install some malware or some kind of server inside that operating system, which lets the attacker to gain complete control over the device or the entire network. So that can be only accessed by the attacker, and he's going to gain that use that backdoor into steal the information, modify the information, or let's say even delete the information. Okay, so that's what he will do in the maintaining access phase. And finally, once everything is done, see, once everything is done or he maintain his access, his intention is completed, he stole the entire information he wanted to, everything is done. And finally, as you can see, hacker in this scenario is considered as a thief. He's going to steal the information, so he's a thief. So no thief wants to be caught, right? So they are going to hide their every footprints or fingerprints and everything, right? Similarly, the attacker, so he's going to hide all his malicious activities in the clear and tracks phase. Okay, while he's continuing with the gaining access and maintaining access levels, he's going to start avoiding his suspicion. So as I mentioned, in the maintaining access, he's going to keep a low profile. Okay, so that's these two actually come in these two actually go in the parallel way, where once by just gaining the access, he's going to hide his activities, and he's going to steal all the information. And finally, after his intention is completed, let's say downloading the entire database, let's say thousands of TB of database, he has completed that. And now he's going to delete everything. He's going to delete every information that might let the attacker to be caught. So he's going to delete the logs, he's going to delete the event logs or IP logs or connection logs and entry logs or login logs and everything. So he's going to destroy everything soon after his intention is completed. So these are the 5 phases of hacking: information gathering, network scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing tracks. I hope you understood that. And moving on, the impact of hacking. So what happens after the hacking is performed by a black hat hacker or a red hat hacker or a blue hat hacker or a malicious insider or a cyber criminal or cyber terrorist, or let's consider by a social engineer hacker, whoever it may be. So the impact of hacking is completely negative. The first and foremost thing is a financial loss. See, definitely the company is going to lose their money, lose their income, lose their finance. Okay, the resultant of the hack. Okay, because the data is being stolen, and and sometimes that might the financial information might be stolen by the attackers. It depends on a lot of things, and many clients might they might retrieve their projects, and they're going to give up on the company because their database is already hacked and they don't want to continue with the company, so the finance is going to be affected here. Okay, and the next one is loss of information. So as you can see, the data might be deleted or stolen, whatever it may be, or changed, whatever it may be, the information has been lost. Okay, so that's one of the impact of hacking. And the next one is decreased privacy. Okay, so once the hacker is able to gain unauthorized access into the system, there is no privacy for us, there is no security at all. He's going to control the webcam, he's going to control the text messages, he's going to control the documents we have, the sensitive or confidential information we have in our devices, in our network, in our databases. So there is no privacy at all. Every sensitive information is compromised. And finally, reputation of the organization, reputation of the individual, reputation of the company is completely damaged. So that's the main impact. Okay, so these are the common impacts of hacking: financial loss, loss of information, decreased privacy, and the reputation damage to the company. And I hope you understood that. So moving on. So here is a small case study of a cyber attack. So I already said, I already given an idea about WannaCry ransomware while we are talking about white hat hacker Marcus Hutchins. So WannaCry ransomware attack was initiated by cyber criminals in May 2017, and that's called WannaCry ransomware. And this ransomware is a crypto worm. That's a type of malware. I'll let you know later. Okay, so where this let me give a brief about ransomwares. Okay, these are malicious softwares which are going to compromise our system or a mobile or a device. Okay, and they will demand us to pay some ransom amount in order to give us back our access. Okay, so what happens here is that malware is going to completely encrypt the data in our laptop or in our desktop PC or in our database. It's going to encrypt the every data, every document, every account. Okay, and in order to decrypt the data, we need the private key, we need a password. So that password, in order to have the password, we need to pay some kind of amount in bitcoins or in any other cryptocurrency to that hacker via given information. So the attacker is going to provide us the address of the cryptocurrency, and we need to pay him in cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this was actually because of why this attack has been initiated and how. Let me tell you. So there is a vulnerability in Windows operating systems, Microsoft Windows operating systems, in a internal software service called SMB. SMB is called server message block. So we know what SMB is. This SMB is a service which is used to transfer data from internal network to external network. So that's a bridge or a gateway in order to transfer data from internal network to external network. So that service is having a vulnerability. It's a zero-day vulnerability actually, which lets any attacker from anywhere around the world who is connected in the internet can gain unauthorized access into the system. Okay, he's going to take complete control over every file, every device, every drive, every folder, every file in our Microsoft operating system, and he's going to encrypt each and every file. And after encrypting, we need to enter a password to retrieve that, and they're not going to provide us the password or the private key. Okay, and that was spread. This Wanaka ransomware was spread by the attackers using email phishing, the social engineering technique called email phishing. Okay, so anybody who opened that email, that malware entered into the system, and it is going to compromise the system and encrypt each and every file. Okay, using the vulnerability in SMB service. And next, what happened is, so that exploit or that exploit or the attack is called eternal blue vulnerability or eternal blue exploit. The exploit is called as eternal blue exploit or eternal blue vulnerability. Okay, and so this is how it looks like. So what happened is, it's going to provide a pop-up in our Windows operating system that what happened to the computer. It's going to tell our device is compromised. And let's say, so I'm going to zoom in here. So just observe the screen. So this is how the pop-up looks like. So it gives a question and answer and gives a payment time and everything. So it gives a question like, can I recover my files? As we guarantee to recover your files, but you need to pay us some amount in order to free your files. And how do I pay? Even the step-by-step procedure in order to do the payment is also provided here. So we need to pay that in bitcoins. See, they are giving like bitcoins are accepted here, like we see in supermarkets, like credit cards are accepted here. Funny thing, but it's a dangerous thing. So they're going to we need to send $300 of dollars worth of bitcoins to the address provided. And as this is a cryptocurrency, and that means every transaction is encrypted. Every transaction via this cryptocurrency is encrypted. So there is no way we are going to we are going to identify to whom the transaction is made, or to which account this transaction is being done until 2019 February. Okay, so we are very thankful to blockchain technology. Because of the blockchain technology, we are able to know whose account this particular we are able to identify to whom to whom the transaction is done and everything. Okay, so if we are unable to pay this bitcoins within 7 days, let's say, or 6 days of time, okay, we cannot recover the files forever. And they have a time limit of they provide a time limit of, like, let's say 6 hours or 12 hours, like that, or let's say 7 hours of time. So if you are unable to pay that in 7 hours of time, they're going to double the amount from $300 to $600. Again we have 6 hours left. And if you are unable to pay that in 6 hours, again that amount will be doubled from $600 to $1,200. So such cruel are black hat hackers or cyber criminals. I hope you understood that. So that is how the Wanaka ransomware is. And this Wanaka ransomware was spreading was has been put a full stop by the security researcher, white hat hacker Marcus Hutchins. And reportedly, this has impacted a lot of businesses, institutions, hospitals, schools, uh, public organizations, police departments, jails, and a lot of things. Even companies like Nissan and Renault, they have completely paused their activities because every device they use is a Microsoft Windows operating system. All their servers are Windows operating systems, and every computer has been compromised by the Wanaka ransomware. Even plenty of hospitals who are using my Windows operating system, Windows 7, Windows XP, Windows servers, which are connected to MRI scanners, all were unable to perform their activities, perform their process or scannings and everything. Okay, so there are a lot of critics. I mean, like they are saying that this attack can be prevented, but the people haven't took the initiative steps. Yeah, that's true. Let me tell you what happened. So the vulnerability was identified in older versions of SMB. Anybody who has updated their software, updated or downloaded and installed a security patch given by the Microsoft company or Microsoft Windows Microsoft are secure from this attack. So all the devices which were not updated, or which all the people who were using Windows 7 or Windows XP were vulnerable to this attack. Only devices which are up to date are secure from the ransomware attack. I hope you understood that. Okay, and few have blamed the governments for not securing or taking any initiative for such an attack and everything. Okay, and estimatedly around 200,000 to 300,000 computers around the world were like around 150 countries were compromised in this cyber attack called WannaCry ransomware attack. I hope you understood that. And moving on, we're going to discuss about social engineering attack. So social engineering is a broad range of malicious activities performed by cyber criminals, scammers, and spammers, where they use psychological manipulations to trick the victims in order to reveal them or disclose them the sensitive information, or sometimes the credentials, sometimes them credit card pin number, or let's say some documents. Sometimes they email the documents or agreements made between software engineers or financial finance managers or HR managers and all. Any confidential sensitive information that might be revealed to the cyber attackers or social engineering hackers. So there are few types of there are plenty of types of social engineering attacks and techniques. So we're going to discuss about few of them. One is phishing, other one is wishing, other one is smishing. Coming to phishing, phishing is where the attackers create fake websites which look genuine, or let's say convincingly looking websites, which will ask the user to enter their credentials or enter their credit card details, or follow the process in order to download a malicious software and install that, a cracking software. Let's say there are plenty of websites which provide cracked softwares of premium softwares. Okay, so any user who downloads cracked softwares are vulnerable to cyber attack, because the cracked softwares, nobody is going to give anything for free. They have their own intentions, so they're going to add some malware into that cracked software. Once we install the cracked operating system or a cracked software, our device is compromised by the attacker in no time. And so that's what phishing is. And coming to wishing, where wishing is where the cyber criminals use their voice as a weapon. They're going to call you and they're going to impersonate themselves, make people believe that they're calling from government agencies, or they're calling from a bank, or their respective bank. They want to provide you a loan for a lower rate of interest, or they say like they're going to call you as a HR. See, most of the uh, fresh graduates or freshers or final years or called by spammers saying that, so we are from TCS, we are from so and so company, we are from Infosys, and we are initiating a private outsourcing here, so you can join in this, and we have selected you based on your academics, and you need to pay us like 25,000 now, and that will be given back to you soon after your employment. So such kind of a lot of spamming, job frauds are done using this technique called phishing, where the cyber criminals, the social engineering hackers, use their voice as a weapon. And finally, we have smishing, where smishing is where attackers use their texting skills, their SMS skills, in order to make victims believe that whatever they're saying is a genuine information, like sending you a message. We receive a lot of messages saying like our number or our bank account, or let's say we have been selected for a contest and we have participated in a contest. Our number is selected out of the contest and we are rewarded with $1 million or 25,000 rupees or something. So previously we would be getting messages like you have been rewarded with $1 million. But now the cyber criminals, the social media hackers, they got good brains, and they are sending SMS like, see, you have been rewarded with 20,000 rupees because you have participated in the in one of the program initiated by agro companies or such companies, which looks genuine. Okay, so such kind of things, or this is a Diwali offer from Amazon. Click on this link and you have lower prices. You can purchase the products for lower prices. This is a Diwali offer. This is a New Year offer, or a Christmas offer, or a Thanksgiving offer, such that. Okay, I hope you understood that. So such kind of attacks are performed by social engineering hackers. Okay, so thank you one and all. Thank you all the participants. And it's already 1:31, so we'll be getting back to the session sharp at 2:30. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving the valuable information regarding the red hat hackers, different phases of hacking, using a case study, and also about the social engineering attacks, phishing, wishing, and smishing. So, thank you so much for this session. Will be continue with the Santosh Kumar Chaluwade sir in the next session, and there is a break time from 1:30 to 2:30. And attendance link has already shared in the chat box. So all the participants are requested to connect it with the same link at 2:30 sharp. Thank you. बंद कर दिया ना। हाँ वो नहीं ऑफ किया था ना। कहाँ है इसको ऑफ कैसे करते हैं? स्ट्रीम